Thank you, Dr. Singh. Some very poignant observations there for all of us to take note of. And we are nearing the end of the first day of our Enterprise Innovation Summit 2020. With the digital refresh that has been pushed upon us, what are some of the lessons that we need to carry with us? To speak about this, we have a gentleman whose years of experience come together to show us the guidelines as we plan for the years ahead. Please join me in welcoming Vijay Sethi, the CIO, the CHRO, and the head of CSR at Hero Motor Corp. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Rahul, for inviting me for this Enterprise Innovation Summit 2020. So thank you, Rahul. Every time you really invite me for this, and this is one event I really enjoy. I enjoy sharing my thoughts. I also enjoy listening to everyone, and it's a great learning experience for me personally. So what I thought this time, let me start with a small story. So there was a time, and I don't know when that time was. I don't actually have lost the count of the time. So there's a time when the markets used to look like this. There are people all around. There's a time when I used to go to office, on the way back, I used to be in this jam. But now I'm sitting at home, so I don't even remember when that time was. And also remember there was a time when our office meetings and everything looked like this. But suddenly, when we were doing all this, entire IT team was busy with various things. So there's social media, cloud, all the discussions about analytics, bar, blockchain, artificial intelligence, robotics, AR, VR, Industry 4.0, 5G, you name things. Everyone is busy running from one project to another. Year closing is happening. 31st of March is coming. Everyone wants to do those things. And the life is going on. And that's the time. Again, as I said, I don't remember when was that. And suddenly, all of us were hit by something. What were we hit by? I really don't know. No one has seen it. We have just seen the pictures of this, whether in blue color, red color, but there's something which has hit us. This is called COVID-19, which has really led to our world becoming topsy-turvy. So whatever was our usual kind of work style, whatever we used to do in our lives, suddenly changed. Had I ever imagined that I'll be sitting at home for almost 150 days now? I had not even taken a leave for one day in last many, many years, and suddenly this changed. How many of us would have imagined that a manufacturing organization, and for that matter, various other organizations, would have all their people working from home? We never had a work from home policy. The entire world has gone topsy-turvy. How many of us would have imagined that you can't really go to a mall, you can't go to a movie theater, you can't do anything? And that's what our life has come to today. So what are the new things? Forget social media, forget cloud, forget analytics, scam, bar, all those things. Suddenly everyone is talking of worldometer. Every few minutes you'll go and see as to what is the current number. People understand right up to the maid. They understand the words quarantine, self-isolation. Everyone is talking of social distancing. Arogya Setu has become much more popular app than whatever apps anyone in IT department would have created ever. Everyone is waiting for a vaccine. All of those people who are kind of really scared of having a vaccine in their life are now waiting as if vaccine should be here tomorrow morning, and they're willing to pay anything for that. That's how the life has changed. PPE kits, N95, these have become part of our life these days. 5 months back, who would have imagined that this is what our life is going to be? And that's how this entire thing has changed over the last 5 months, March onwards. Now people are talking of, will there be a new normal? Is this the way of life? And then there are new discussions. Is it the new normal? Is it the next normal? Or will be in a stage when there will not be anything normal? So it will be a never normal. So is it new normal, next normal, normal, never normal? What's your thought? My view is simple. A, new normal, B, never normal, C, next normal. All of the above. I really don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if any one of you knows. You can really work out on that. But this is going to be a very, very different world whenever we actually come back to those things that I showed earlier, when all of us are in the market, kind of freely floating around in our offices, at the coffee booths, talking to everyone, having normal meetings. When is it going to happen? I don't know. So all of the above, whether that normal would happen or not, whether it's a never normal, I don't know. Whether the new normal, whenever it comes, it will be very different with very different kind of working that we will have in our offices. I don't know. So let's look at what this has really shown us. And that brings me to the topic which is what are the lessons for the future? How do we really ensure that whether it's a new normal, next normal, or never normal, what are the things that we need to really do in our life to ensure that the life goes on? I just looked at what are the key issues that companies are facing. Biggest, I also handle HR, so I know absenteeism is a huge amount of issue. Anxiety among employees, major issues, employee sentiments, customer sentiments, cash flows. Companies have not been able to sell a lot of stuff, so the cash flows issues which are there, top line issues, bottom line issues, supply chain disruptions, because you never know which location, which particular part or an area where your employees are suddenly gets into a containment zone, and you really all the plans go for a toss. And of course, we know that there hasn't been any business travel for a lot of businesses which really kind of focused on business travel a lot. There's a no business at this moment. So there are a lot of issues. I just put in a few of them. And when you really look at some of the lessons and what we need to do, I just looked at some of these key issues. What I see, irrespective of whatever normal we may have, new or never or whatever it may be, each one of us and our organization needs to reboot ourselves. We really go back into our IT things and say that, okay, whatever has happened till yesterday is okay. Now let's clear all the cache, clear everything and start afresh. That's what reboot is. And the key thing over here is we need to focus on the mantra that we know, Jan Bhi, Jahan Bhi, which means we need to focus on both the things. While we need to focus on our health, safety, also we need to ensure that the business goes on. And that's the key mantra as I see going forward. If I look at the first part, while all of us should fight safely against COVID-19, focus on employee well-being, well-being of their families, health, safety, everything, the key things that each one of us in our organizations as business leaders, irrespective of whether we're in IT or any other business, need to ensure that we communicate. We communicate so much with our employees and their families so that the entire anxiety, issues, whatever they are facing, they are taken care. We need to be compassionate. We need to be caring organization. And the biggest thing is, since everybody is going through kind of anxiety, everybody is going through some sort of anxiousness, their families are going through anxiousness, we need to be empathetic at that time. So that will ensure that the basics from a business perspective, the Jan Bhi kind of is there, so that we as business leaders, as organizations really present us in a way that all our employees and their families really feel cared about. And if we look at the second piece, which is from business perspective, what do we need to do from business? Each one of us needs to ensure survival and growth of business. I'm consciously using the word survival and growth because we know that at this time, there are a lot of businesses which have not kind of survived. We don't know how many of could die down. So each one of us needs to focus on survival of the business and of course the growth of business. I just put in 7 tips over next few minutes as to what I personally think that each one of us as IT leaders, as business leaders, as CIOs, as managers in our organizations can do to ensure that our own businesses survive and not only survive, but they grow. First, resilience. I think the business resilience is the biggest thing that we need to focus on. How does one really come back? Resilience is about recovering from the adversity, trauma, and all the businesses are going through this trauma. It is not just a theoretical word. Today it has become a necessity. The business continuity plan, those thick volumes that each one of us used to have and present it to our auditors and feel happy that, yes, I have a great business continuity plan. What did that plan do to us? Nothing, absolutely nothing, because you couldn't, that scenario was never there that the entire world is under lockdown. We would think that, okay, your office is locked down, you move on to another site, which may be a hot site, warm site, whatever that site is. Your entire city comes under earthquake, you move on to another one from your data center. What happens when all the infrastructure is there, but people are not there? People can't come into office, and not just in this country, but any country. So suddenly the entire business continuity plan goes for a toss. And that's where we need to now look at how do we really look at business resilience? How do we really ensure that the process that we use to recover our business to the next level is something which is really practical? This entire COVID experience has given us so much of insights into what we should be doing that we really look at this to ensure that we really take our business to a level that in case there's anything that comes up later, we should be ready for that. So that's the biggest thing from an organization's perspective, that we need to be resilient. The second, what has this COVID experience taught us? We need to collaborate. We are not the only organization, only person who's in it. All of us are in it together. We can't be saying that, no, I have to survive, you can't survive. If today a vaccine is being created, I don't know which countries, and all countries are working in which country will come first. We know Russia has already announced something. But each country, each organization, even among competitors, has to collaborate a lot. Looking from an organization perspective, if I look at our own supply chain partner, if you don't collaborate, if one of them goes down, the entire supply chain collapses. If one of your selling point goes down, you're not able to sell even if you're able to produce. So each one of us has to collaborate, and one of the key mantras for all the organizations at this time to survive, to grow, is to collaborate. Come out of the silos, break those silos, work with other organizations, work with other departments, individuals, to ensure that all of us work with a common objective, that we grow, you grow. It's not that I grow but you don't grow. And that's what we need to focus on, a collaboration in a big, big way. Third, all of us had some plans. If this thing goes down, I'll do this. If my server of A goes down, I'll go to site B. If this person goes down, this happens. All those plans have been there on paper only. So each one of us needs to, what this pandemic has taught us is that we need to plan even much more than whatever we had planned. Plan A, B, C, D, E, I don't know how many plans that we need to prepare, because you never know next day what will hit. Today we think that this particular city, this particular country is now recovered. Suddenly someone comes and says that no, the second wave has come and third wave has come. This thing has happened. You might be thinking that this city could be, or this area could be an issue, and suddenly that's one of the best ones. So we need to ensure that our planning is well, and we have multiple plans from that perspective. And we need to also ensure that we are ready to change our plans, because each of our plans could go for a toss. Each of our plans. So we cannot take any planning for granted, and for that we need to ensure that we need to be really, really flexible. Organizations who will survive, organizations who will grow, organizations who will thrive are those organizations which will be really flexible, which will be adaptable, which will adapt to the new normal, and also take actions at a very different pace, and that's how it would be. Now, we know that all the organizations are facing issues. All the organizations need to take tough decisions, whether it is related to various initiatives that we are doing, whether it is related to various other activities. Each organization has to prioritize. There could be various different parameters on which we need to prioritize. And when you prioritize, you also need to take tough decisions. You have to make tough choices. And this is the time organizations have to show the mettle. The leaders have to show the mettle that yes, we are willing to prioritize. We are not going by our preset notions. No, I have to do this. This is what I had thought, then I will do only these projects. This is very important for me. No, it doesn't work this way. It is that from a business perspective, what are the key priorities of the business? What we need to do? What are the priorities from an employee perspective? What are the things that I need to ensure that employees are safe, the families are safe? What I need to ensure that my customer experience is good? Those are things we really need to prioritize. And for that, if I have to drop certain things, I should be willing to. And many of these could be real tough decisions. Some of the actions that we might have already initiated, we might have to stop them. Some of the things that we had already planned, committed, we might have to stop. So these would really lead to a lot of tough decisions. And this is the time, as organizations, we need to take real tough decisions. And when you do this, you can't be bureaucratic. You can't be saying that, okay, we'll see it. Can it be done after? Let's review it after 2 weeks. Let's see how it goes. Agility is the key thing, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And whatever actions need to be taken, they have to be taken in today's context. So we need to be very, very agile. Sixth, I think what the entire thing, especially from a CIO's perspective, IT perspective, this COVID has shown us that digitalization would accelerate. All of us have been reading all those things on WhatsApp, what CIOs, CEOs, CXOs, other people, all the consultants on earth could not do to push digitalization in the organizations, an unseen virus, a very small virus called coronavirus has really led. So when we did work from home, all organizations, when we did all other initiatives, the amount of appreciation for digital in the organizations has grown up significantly. People do realize that digital is the way to go. And that's where I personally think that over next maybe few weeks, few months as we go, digitalization processes, activities, actions in each organization will really accelerate. So as CIOs, as IT managers, as business leaders, we need to be very clear and also be ready for this entire digitization. For that, we need to focus on reskilling of our teams and building a digital culture, a culture which will really help us in ensuring that digitalization will really take advantages of this. And if you see, those companies really have grown in this period or have come out successfully who had a good digital culture. Also, we need to reskill our employees from a relevance perspective to ensure that in the new normal, in the never normal, in the next normal, whatever it may be, the skills which are required, our employees are there. And those were the 7 mantras, but overall, I'll give one overarching mantra which is beyond all these 7, which is customer experience has to be center of all actions and plans. Whatever we do in our organizations, we need to ensure, because customer today is a very different customer. For example, if someone has to buy a two-wheeler, they might prefer that they don't want to go to a particular dealership. Can I give a touchless experience? Or they come into dealership, can I give them a very different experience where they feel safe and secure? They come for service. How do we ensure that their entire experience is safety, security, well-being from that perspective? So customer experience has to be at the center of all our actions and plans. And going forward, as the mindset of customers also change, digitalization would play a huge role in the entire thing. Finally, as I come to the last part of my presentation, remember one thing. Challenges are not obstacles designed to stop you. COVID-19, coronavirus, might have been a challenge, but it's one of the biggest opportunity from an IT perspective, from an organization's perspective to reinvent themselves, to change themselves. And if we take these challenges as an opportunity, suddenly you can look at very many positive things of the entire things. And all these opportunities are designed to strengthen us. So we should take this particular opportunity, this current challenge of COVID-19 as a huge opportunity for us to change our organizations. Remember this is not going to stay forever. Coronavirus, COVID-19 is not going to stay forever. This too shall pass. So don't worry about that. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay positive, and ensure that everyone in your families, in your companies is safe. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you, sir. And with that, we draw the curtains on the first day of this year's Enterprise Innovation Summit. Now, our partner stalls will be open through the evening, and we urge you to visit them, interact with our partners, and win some great prizes for participating. We are incredibly thankful to all our partners, Dell, Veeam, F5, NTT, Quest, Fortinet, Yota, and CoSH for supporting us in this year's journey. I'll be back with you tomorrow afternoon for day 2 of the Enterprise Innovation Summit. And our theme tomorrow is Digital to the Core. Till then, take care and stay safe.